Welcome to The Common Fan, your go-to podcast for SEC smack talk, top 25 game day predictions, and fan-first football takes in college or the NFL. Here is your host, Bryce Tillman. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and let's talk ball.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of The Common Fan. I'm your host, Bryce Tillman, and thank you so much for making us a listen every single day. Joining me, as always, is Kyle Dewitt, and today we have a special guest with us, Mr. Carl Tucker, class of 2015, William A. Hugh High School. Kyle and him played ball together 2 years together. They're the number 22 athlete in the country, and number 17 in North Carolina per 247. He was also a member of the ESPN Top 300 at number 270, the number 4 tight end in the country. Signed with North Carolina, played 4 years and transferred to Alabama when he won the SEC championship, the Rose Bowl, and 2020 national champions. Carl, so glad to have you, man. Thank you for coming on with us.
Absolutely. So glad to be here. Very excited to be here as well.
That's awesome, man. And I think you've done a stint in the NFL as well, right?
Yeah, I had a cup of coffee in the league. I was with the Miami Dolphins for a couple months. Then, hopped team from after that.
Nice. Well, before we break down today's episode, we're going to be talking about Bama versus Florida State, giving a prediction on that. And Carl's going to give us his season predictions for Alabama. We're going to discuss some things about during Carl's recruitment and how the evolution of recruiting has changed over the years. Going to get to talk about him playing for Coach Mack Brown. Going to get to talk about, I hate to say it, the GOAT, Nick Saban. As bad as I'm an Auburn fan, he is the best coach ever coached college football. And then we're going to wrap it up after Carl. We speak with him, and then we're going to talk about Texas versus Ohio State and LSU versus Clemson. But, guys, before we do that, we got to give a quick shout-out to one of our sponsors. This episode of The Common Fan is brought to you by Sharp42.ag, proudly sponsored by Joe Allen. If you're ready to take your college football Saturdays and NFL Sundays to the next level, Sharp42.ag has you covered. With sharp betting lines, expert analysis, and the fastest payouts in the game, Sharp42.ag makes sure you never miss a chance to win big. Thanks to Joe Allen for making this possible and for supporting fans like us who live and breathe football. So don't just watch the game. Get in on the action. Visit Sharp42.ag today. Bet smarter with the best. If you're interested in joining Sharp42.ag, comment below and we will get you hooked up. So, Carl, going in talking about, you and Kyle playing football together for 2 years during your recruitment and stuff. I mean, Kyle, you've had a lot of praise for Carl, talking about the stuff that y'all done, the programs that y'all was going through with the 7-on-7 teams and stuff like that. So I'm going to let you take this with Carl and just ask a question, Carl, because there's a ton of young athletes that like to tune into this podcast that are coming in, and they want to get some insight on some of the things that you went through in your recruitment and took you on your path.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
Like you said, Bryce, I got a lot of high praise for Big Carl. Dude, when he was in high school, he wasn't a tight end. He was a receiver and was nasty. He come out there, dude, low socks, no gloves, no visors, nothing. He was just raw talent.
Simple, right? Baby. Hey, simple and sweet.
But look, dude, was mean as all get out. When it come Friday night, it was strictly business. So love Carl to death. We always had a good relationship. We actually travel the country a lot, playing 7-on-7, which we'll get into. Carl, your recruitment in high school, kind of run us through briefly. What was that like? You had some recruitment success at Robinson, transferred to Huff. You're going into junior year. What happened? What was that like?
It was definitely a night and day difference, playing in Cabarrus County, North Carolina, Concord, and transferring to Charlotte. It was two completely different things. Didn't really get a lot of exposure. It's much better now, but back then football really wasn't great. We had some good athletes in different spots, but like in terms of complete teams, it was not the same. So that's why I kind of laugh when you say, low ankle socks and no gloves. Like, I didn't get any swag. I didn't learn what swag was until I got to Huff. I didn't start wearing gloves, didn't get the leg sleeves and all that. I did none of that till I got to Huff. So just
it didn't make you play any better. It's fine.
It
It did.
honestly,
It did.
it did a little bit. It definitely did a little bit.
It gave a little bit more confidence.
Oh, 100%. So just for recruitment in high school, I didn't really understand what it was until we started that 7-on-7. So like my introduction to Charlotte football was 7-on-7.
Yeah.
Traveling, going to different states. We went to Ohio, Michigan, Florida, and not only were we going like playing the games, we were traveling and going to these different colleges as well. So it was just super eye opening on what like the opportunities that football could bring.
Yeah.
So 7-on-7 wise, just like traveling. In terms of like recruiting, 7-on-7, it didn't really get much recruitment. I don't know if it happens now, but I know back then it wasn't necessarily getting you offered, but I mean, definitely got you on the radar. But the biggest thing with 7-on-7 is just the exposure, working
That's
on
right.
that. Not necessarily because my big thing, I was a bigger receiver, so I was just throwing people out of the way. 7-on-7 forced me to work on my skills. So like people that were guarding, they could just cover me. I had to stem the correct way, and do all that other extra stuff. So it really just opened my eyes in terms of being a better skill player rather than just throwing people out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
No,
that with 7-on-7, it allows you to get, like you said, the exposure, and it opens you up so that, like you just mentioned, going to these different colleges and playing and traveling the states and stuff that scouts might be there. They're not going to just solely, like you said, you probably didn't get offers solely on 7-on-7, but it
Yeah.
allowed you to get your name out there, and it allowed these
Mhm.
coaches to put you on their radar once you're in full pads and then watch your film then. So
100%.
yeah. And
That was a big thing. They may, say something to you, talk to you, but most of the time, unless you're a freak athlete running a 4.3 or 4.2, you're probably, especially back then, you're probably not going to get that offer off 7-on-7 because they want to see you with the pads on.
unless your name's Mark Fields. Mark
Unless your
Fields
name
got
is Mark Fields.
unless your name's
Goodness
Mark Fields.
gracious.
So dude ran a 4.34 or 4.37 at the NFL Combine. He did that in high
God.
school.
He was
But
he wasn't he the fastest man? He did the
so he
Nike.
did. That's right. The opening.
Yeah, it was the opening. Was the fastest
Yeah.
man. Oh,
Yeah. Dude, it was crazy.
freak.
Hey, so you made a pretty good point there, right? So when you were in 7-on-7, going from high school ball, playing on Friday nights, and now we're going in the spring and in the summer, we're going to all these camps and different tournaments. We're playing high school kids, but high school kids that are chasing a dream just like we were. You said that you had to learn how to stem. You had to learn how to run certain routes, make players do what you needed them to do. That's to me, that was the biggest part for me, right? Was having to actually truly learn coverages and what each and every player had to do, which then, we could communicate like, hey, look, they're running one high safety, it's cover three, get an outside stem, press back to the middle. It made it
Mhm.
easier. But it also translated from there to game, right? So that
100%.
I love the point there. Yeah, there's some kids that were just absolutely disgusting that did get some scholarships, but back then, no, you didn't have that. I think now that's all you see. You see
Mhm.
Instagram and Reels and all the stuff of these kids going and playing 7-on-7, and a lot of them have 40, 50, 60 plus offers.
Right.
The only person we had was Robert Washington that had 52 offers, and he played at a little 1A Christian school.
What a name drop. Forgot about him too.
Yeah, come on.
Another freak.
so
Yeah,
God.
Carl,
yeah.
I think that we can join these next two questions together, and I think it would flow pretty good. I want you to go in and talk about when you went into North Carolina, and then when you transferred to Bama as a grad transfer. But you played for Mack Brown and Nick Saban. Can you discuss some similarities or differences between them two, and then also on that 2020 national championship team that you was with for Coach Saban, and playing with Devontae Smith and his Heisman year, Matt Jones, John Mechie. Just kind of go in and talk about who was your most influential teammate, and it could be from your time at North Carolina or time at Alabama. So the differences between Coach Mack and Coach Saban, and then just talk about that 2020 year for us.
Ooh, they are two completely different coaches. I Matt Brown is a very nice great human. They're both great human beings. But Mac Brown he's going to coach you very nice. He'll tell you how it is.
Very
He'll
nice.
tell you straight up, but it's very even keel. I can't speak on how he was in his younger days. I don't know if he had more fire in him when he was younger.
Right.
But I remember when, because we had Larry Fedora for 4 years straight before Mac Brown came in. And so that whole summer, all Mac Brown did was bring back some of his old players that were in the NFL or maybe were successful down the line. And they would all just talk about how Mac Brown was as a coach. And every single one of them was like, oh, he was like a father to me. He was just super important to me. He changed my life. And so he just had the way he impacted his players. It makes a lot of sense when you're coached by him. Like you can just tell he really, really cares about who you are as a man, like who you're becoming, who you are as a human being. So to kind of give a big example of the huge difference between Saban and Mac Brown. So let's say that at a training camp in North Carolina, it's 110 degrees outside. Mac Brown is saying, okay, so we'll practice maybe 30, 45 minutes outside, but then we're going to come back inside. Saban didn't give a can I cuss? Saban didn't give a fuck. He didn't freak. He did not care. So he had this guy that was a Marine, so like badass. I cannot remember his name. Evan, I want to say his name was Evan. Maybe. I'm sorry that I can't remember his name, but he was like a Marine. Like he went through it all. And so anytime that it was too hot where like Marines wouldn't even be training out in this weather, he would let Saban know or let everybody know, like, okay, it's too hot. He didn't care. We was out there anyway. So Saban obviously cares about you as a person, but like he is a hard ass and he's gonna get it out of you one way or another. Like you're either gonna do it or you're not gonna play.
Yeah.
It just there's a reason why Saban is the greatest coach of all time. There's a reason why he constantly got the best recruits and he constantly got the most out of those recruits. If you're the best player, you're playing, period. Like he did not have favorites. If you're better, you're gonna play. He did not, there was no shortcuts. There's no off days. There's no like we're out here, we're playing football, you're gonna give 100%. So like outside looking in, before I got to Alabama, I used to think like, why are they so good? They're all so big, they're all so fast, always flying to the ball, always doing all this crazy stuff. And I get there and it makes so much sense. It's the grind.
Felt like a full circle moment.
Full circle moment. It makes so much sense why when he was there, these kids are like robots. Like they're just consistent and constant, and like they're just every practice they're competing, flying around the ball. Everybody's really freaking talented, but not only talented, like everybody wants it. So like some circumstances, you may have some kids that are, it's not feeling today. I don't want to do this. Why are we practicing? This is too hot. I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. There was no player at Alabama that was ever complaining about practice at all. So like, if you're going to be the one to complain, they're going to look at you different. So just it's just crazy. Like he never took a team lightly, so that we could be playing the school of the deaf and the blind, and he would point out the different ways that they could beat us, and we would practice and play and scrimmage like they could beat us by 50. So like he was taking no team lightly, and it was just 24/7, like nonstop, like. And I think a part of that is like he knows what it takes to win national championships, and he instilled that in his players. He instilled that in the coaches. That's why all the coaches that leave Alabama, they go on to succeed wherever they go, because it's just that mentality and mindset that he has. When Mac Brown's walking, hey, how you doing? Good morning. You feel comfortable talking to him. I guess for me personally, with Coach Saban, I was just like, good morning, Coach. And like, just keep walking. Like I wasn't, I didn't want to get on his radar. Didn't want to be in his way.
Hey Coach.
Do my job and just do my job and kind of move on.
Yeah. So the Bama standard that is a real thing.
Oh my God.
Real thing. I see it. Like, you see it. you can see it on past players, like people that even like do podcasts now, or like people that are spokesmen or people that are coaches that played under him. Like you can just see it, like you know it, and I mean that speaks volumes. So.
It means something. It means something to everybody, and everybody buys in. Like there's no weak link on the team. Like you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that guy. Which makes it easier to lock in and really like get into it. Because just everybody around you was in it 100%, regardless of if they were third or fourth on the depth chart, first, second, it didn't matter.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, who was your most influential teammate on? We'll just say Bama, because it sounds like you're adjusting at Bama was daylight and dark. So who was the kind of person that you kind of leaned on that kind of helped you and not necessarily help you like get up to standard, but just kind of you could lean on them if you needed to.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the whole Alabama tight end room. I know for a fact that when I first got there, I was lacking a little bit. I was definitely behind. There was a lot to catch up on. But Miller Forrestall, Major Tennyson, Cam Latu, big three, great guys, great athletes, all such good athletes. And they're
Miller Forrestall was nasty.
Oh yeah. So just being around them, just their open arms, they were super cool, but they were grinding. They made it a lot easier for me personally to kind of get into the program and kind of get it rolling. But just in terms of the whole team, we just had so many guys that were just leaders vocally and like off the field and on the field. It was just kind of easy to kind of go. So you had Najee Harris, Mac Jones, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. You had Mechie, which at that time he was still a leader. He was a little younger, but he was still definitely doing his thing. You had Pat Surtain on the other side.
BY9, Bryce Young.
Yeah, Bryce Young. He was a true freshman at that point. He came.
Yep.
You had Pat Surtain on the other side.
Oh,
and
dog. Absolutely.
He has two.
And then
dude, he's a dog.
We had a middle line, but I can't remember his name. I know he got picked up by the Jags when we got out. Oh, what is his name? He was a monster.
Was he 2020?
He was 2020. He was a linebacker.
Number 8.
I think it was 8, number 8, and it was him, and then it was another linebacker. God, I can't remember their names.
Gosh, what was number 8? Dude,
they were both freaks. They were monsters. Yeah. Goodness.
I don't know why I can't think of the names right now.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, but it was two of them.
Christian.
It was Christian, and then there was another one. I think I want to say Dylan or.
So I was going to bring up Dylan Moses.
Dylan Moses, yes.
Remember when we went to Alabama camp, going into my senior year, you would have been going into a junior. Dylan Moses was an 8th grader then, and that's when he got offered by Bama. And remember, the kids that had the Bama hats, he was one of them. He was an 8th dude. He was a monster in 8th grade.
He was a freak, dude. I got there. He was a freak. God, man, I didn't know that.
I remember playing Bama ball and seeing him, and I was like, geez. Yeah, that was right after he got offered by LSU.
And then you had
Bama. I mean, they've got a.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I'm so bad with names. It's been I haven't even thought about this. It's been so long. But Dean from the Texans, he was a true freshman with us. I want to say Will
Anderson.
Will Anderson. Kid was 18 years old, ragged on us. Yeah, he was a true freshman. Like I've been in college 4 or 5 years, and I got to put 10 toes down to block his behind. And he's a true freshman. So like that kind of goes to Saban's mentality. Like if you're better, you're gonna play. He was a true freshman, and he started because he was that good. Like he was so good. You just knew he was gonna be playing on Sundays, which a lot of those guys would be.
Well, I'm going to assume that Bama's still. I'm going to assume that Bama's still playing on the standard, right? The best players are going to play for them this Saturday, and they ain't got no small task for. People can say what they want to about Florida State last year. I understand they had a horrible season, but historically, this program isn't known for just staying down. And I, Mike Norvell, he's not a terrible coach. He's had a few unfortunate injuries. I'm a firm believer that the quarterback getting hurt 2 years ago when he was on his third string is the only thing that kept them out of the playoffs, and they wouldn't allow to go in at the number 4 spot. But being undefeated in regular season and winning the ACC. And but I think that the injuries and stuff is really what kept them out of it. That's kind of what the expansion to 12 teams really come in. But Florida State versus Bama, Carl, this team, man. I mean, Bama. People act like the glaciers melting with Bama because a first-year coach came in and only lost 4 games his first year. Oh, well, they haven't done that since Nick Saban's first year. Okay, well, to be fair, Kalen DeBoer, he still had a better record than Saban his first year. I understand the talent was there. I understand that the roster was still where it needed to be. But it's a big change, right? It was a change to the locker room, change to staff and personnel, changes atmosphere for Kalen DeBoer himself. Like, it was a big change for everybody. And it still squeezed out a season going, 9-4 overall? I mean, that's
9-4 after the bowl game.
That's a lot better than 7-5, or 7-6, what Saban went, right? So when we break down this game and look at it, what do they need to do to win this game? I mean, it's looking like it's going to be a little bit of wet conditions, going to be more probably running the ball. I know Jam Miller being out with an injury is going to hurt. You got one of your captains on the defensive line going out with a injury right now, going to be out for a couple weeks. But what does Alabama need to focus on to win this game? And what do you think that your prediction will be in this game between Florida State and Alabama?
I'd say you got to keep Ty Simpson comfortable. It's his first start. This is his first start, isn't it? Yeah. So keep him comfortable. We got to be able to run the ball well to be able to keep him comfortable. Which brings me to the defensive side of the ball. They run that kind of offense that Vanderbilt had, where Vanderbilt killed the Swan. They got a nice little running quarterback. They got Squirrel Wright over there. So they're going to spread us out pretty well. So it's really about just kind of keeping composure and kind of making sure that he's not rattled. Because I do think Florida State may put some points up on us. It's just really maintaining that and kind of keeping up with it, making sure Ty Simpson is in good situations to get the ball out.
Yeah.
Positive
Costello is a dual threat quarterback. And, with Gus Malzahn coming there, and he's the offensive coordinator there with Mike Norvell. Like, that's kind of what Gus Malzahn's offenses have always been based around, right? A dual threat quarterback, tucking it and running.
And that was our kryptonite last year.
And that's exactly what I was going to go into. When you look at Alabama, right, their losses that they had last year, every one of them had mobile quarterbacks. Every one of them. Diego Pavia is a mobile quarterback. He's a dual threat quarterback, right? What was Bama's other loss last year?
Tennessee.
I mean, you had Nico, right? He's not a dynamic runner, but he had a threat to run the ball. And that was kind of, hurt him. And I just think that, I have a hard time imagining Bama struggling with the same thing 2 years in a row, right? I mean, I think that they're going to key in, probably drop back, do a couple QB spies, kind of key in on Costello. And I look for Alabama to have no issue with physically dominating this game. But I think that if they don't contain Costello's and they don't get Ty Simpson comfortable, I think this game will be a little bit closer than what Alabama wants. And quite frankly, if the rain's really pushing through and they're really leaning on the ground game for both teams, I'm starting to question if Alabama will cover the spread on this game. I'm not saying they won't win, but I wonder if they'll be able to get that 14-point gap between them.
That's what I'm iffy on as well. And especially just like with everything you said, I do think FSU is going to sneak more than 14. I think they may get 21 on us. So we just have to offensively be prepared. O-line should be able to dominate their D-line as well. I mean, that's the big difference between SEC and ACC is the front seven. Skill positions are really all the same, but it's that front seven that makes that difference. So
Yeah.
if they can keep getting a push, we can work on, like you said, Kyle, positive downs, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, 3rd and 2. I think it'd be, a solid situation. But if we can't get that ball pushed and Ty Simpson is forced to be in situations like, 3rd and longs with a rainy Saturday, that may be a little difficult.
So real quick, score prediction
exactly.
on that game. What are you thinking?
I say 35-21, Bama.
Nice.
Ooh,
We're close.
let's go.
We're close.
Yeah.
Really close. What you got, Kyle?
I went 38-21. 38-21.
Okay. Well, we're all right there together, man. I had Alabama win this game 35-17. That's what I think the final score will be for them. I think that Ryan Williams is going to eat. I think Jerm's going to cook on the outside. I think they're going to run the ball. I think Ty Simpson's going to break out on a couple runs too, and people are not going to, they really sleep on his mobility. And I think that he'll kind of get hurried, possibly a few plays. It ain't going to be a lot because Alabama's offensive line is really good. But I think that he'll scramble, and they won't be nobody in that middle of the area right there, possibly on like a 3rd and long situation. And I can see Ty Simpson carrying about a 25, 30-yard gain to get them in scoring position. But I think that Alabama's not going to have an issue scoring. I don't think that we got to worry about Florida State's defense. My concern is, can Alabama get Ty Simpson comfortable and let him cook? So, well, now that we've got our predictions, do you have an overall Alabama record that you're ready to put out for the year? What you think they're going to go this year?
Undefeated.
Let's go. Let's go.
I mean, realistically, I think that naturally Georgia's going to pose a problem. Georgia's going to be – I think Georgia will be the problem game for sure. I looked at the schedule earlier. I don't see – I'm not really worried about anybody else but Georgia.
Really? I got
South Carolina could be
South Carolina. I got a lot of high hope for South Carolina.
South Carolina definitely could sneak one.
I hate to tell you and Carl, but y'all are not beating Auburn 6 years in a row. Y'all will lose to Auburn this year.
Come on now.
Last game of season.
Let's get real for a minute. We know who little brother is.
He's got them at 12-0. Hey, Kyle hopes you're right. Kyle hopes you're right with
that
12-0 record.
I do. Hey,
Carl Tucker, man, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he was part of Saban's only undefeated SEC season. So he knows it can be done.
Yeah, it can be. But it really depends on, like, honestly, this offense is going to depend on Ty Simpson. Like, how is he going to come at it this season? Like, how is he going to look? Is he going to be posed in the pocket? Because that was our problem last year. Jalen Milroe, great player. But there are just times where he wasn't poised in the pocket and he just kind of threw things, overthrew it, or threw picks because he just wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
So can Ty Simpson get us out of these situations where it may be a 3rd and long or what I'm saying? Yeah, basic 3rd and long. Which Milroe, great player, but he wasn't amazing at getting us out of those kind of situations. So I
wasn't
think
that elite level quarterback yet.
Yes. Yeah. We have great athletes. We have great talent, but can we get the ball to them at these important moments is the biggest thing.
Well, Carl Tucker, man, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. We look forward to getting you on for a couple more Alabama matchups this year, hopefully, man. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. Absolutely.
See you, man.
All right, man. We'll see you. What a guy, Kyle. What a guy.
What a guy. Dude, nicest guy ever.
Yep. So now that we've got the FSU and Alabama prediction out of the way, we're going to dive into this Texas and Ohio State game. Kyle, I think me and you's kind of splitting the fences on this one a little bit. I feel like that, this game, it means so much, but how much does it mean to each team, if that makes sense, right? You've got the number one team versus the number 2 team, and the number 1 team coming to your house to start the season week 1 in Ohio State. And to me, this game is going to have to come down to mainly 4 people, right? Steve Sarkisian, Ryan Day, Arch Manning, and Julian Saban. Kai, I want to hear your take on it first, and let me get your prediction on this game. What do you think what do you think about this matchup?
So I'm going to be against the rest of the country. Um, you said it exactly correct, right? It's going to come down to 4 people: Ryan Day, Sarkisian, Arch Manning, Julian Sayin. I think across the board, I think they're pretty equally matched. I think Texas will get them on the front line, right? I think they got a pretty nasty defensive line, good linebackers. So they may cause some havoc there. But when it comes down to it, athletes for athletes, Jeremiah Smith on there, he's a game changer. But it's going to come down to Julian Sayin and Arch Manning. Arch Manning has got the leg up on him. He's got more starts, more experience, played in a lot several big games, right? Played in the SEC championship, played against Georgia at Texas. Didn't do too hot, but he's played in some big games. I think they equally have enough to prove, right? Defending national championship, a team that has had a fantastic team and can win a national championship, but hasn't done it yet. As far as with Sarkisian, and Heisman's got the Heisman hype. So I mean, Arch has the Heisman hype. So there's a lot to prove. I've changed. I was Ohio State. Now I'm Texas. I think Texas is going to pull it out. I think we might see a 3-4 point ball game. Maybe 28-24, maybe even a little higher, maybe a 42-38. I think Texas
That'd
pulls
be
it out. I
exciting.
think Texas
That
pulls
would
it
be
out.
exciting.
That would be very exciting.
So for a lot of the things you just mentioned, I'm with you. But I think that if you lined up Ryan Day and Steve Sarkisian, I would take Ryan Day. But if you lined up Arch Manning and Julian Sayin right now, I would take Arch Manning. So they split the hairs there with that, right? Texas has got a good defense, probably arguably better than Ohio State's defense currently right now.
Yeah.
But what I think is going to be, I mean, you talked about this. What I think is going to be the issue for Texas in this game is we've seen Steve Sarkisian getting his little groove. He's moving that ball, and all of a sudden he gets, rattled 3-4 yards deep in the backfield on a play. And then he comes out and it's a second long situation or a third and long situation. And then he tries to get a little too cute with his schematics. And I think that he's going to force Arch to make a mistake. And I feel like Arch is going to be put in a situation to make a mistake. And quite frankly, going into the shoe is no small task. Mistakes are going to be made as it is. And I think Sarkisian is going to try to get a little too fancy. And it's just going to add that much more pressure to Arch. Whereas Ryan Day, I think that he's going to we see this with Ryan Day when he coaches. That's why I like him as a coach. I'm a big Ryan Day guy. Now, I know that he's only won one national championship, but hey, let's be honest. That's a lot more national championships than anybody else and any other coaches in the country's won, right?
Yep.
But I think Ryan Day is going to be a little bit more patient. I think he's going to sit back, let his running backs try to eat, throw a little quick slants, maybe throw some bubble screens, maybe throw a screen here and there. Let Julian Sayin get in and get comfortable. If that game's close within a few points, I don't think he's going to try to really make Julian Sayin stretch it out downfield. And I think that people are sleeping on Julian Sayin's mobile ability too, because from what I've seen, the kid's fast, really fast.
And he knows when to pull it and run.
And I'm with you. I have 27-24, but I have Ohio State squeaking it out in the last drive. I think Ohio State will be leading. Texas will come down and get a good driving score to tie it up. But I think Ohio State will have just enough time left to get inside that 35-yard range and maybe 30-yard range, home field advantage, and the guy sinks through the uprights. Give me Ohio State win this game 27-24. I can't really explain it no more than that. It's just really a gut feeling for me.
Yeah. No, you said it right. I mean, look, there's an acronym I love. It's KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Nick Saban was big on, running his defense, running his offense. He didn't do anything crazy. The one game that I can kind of go back to and remember him trying to get too cute, like you said, was the 2019 LSU game, where I want to say we were down one score. They were getting ball back at half. They were getting ball back at half. And instead of pushing the ball downfield and trying to kick in a field goal, it's 3rd and 8, and they try to send Devontae Smith on a go route or a fade route and interception. Now they have a minute 15 with arguably one of the best offenses in the nation to go down and score. So keeping it simple will keep Texas in the game, which is what Ryan Day's going to do. He's going to keep it simple.
Yeah, and maybe they will, man. If Sarkisian figures out how to do that, this team is going to be a problem for a lot of people in the country, right?
Yeah.
One of the favorites to make it to the national championship. So we'll see. All right, next up, LSU versus Clemson. And Kyle, we just don't realize how blessed we are to get this many awesome ball games in one weekend. Week one, my wife better not ask me to do anything because I will be glued to the TV the whole time. It is our weekend. Moving. But LSU versus Clemson, who needs this game more? And to me, the obvious answer is LSU. Brian 100%. Kelly's got to win
100%.
this week one game, man. He's 0-5 in week one games. 0-5. Kyle, when I look at LSU's additions they've made to this team, it's awesome, and that's great. Clemson is returning a lot, and they've got a heavy roster. Like, they're just dudes. The front seven on defense is absolutely juiced for Clemson. I mean, they've got arguably 2 first-rounders in the front seven right now on their team. And when I look at LSU and you go over to them, you say, all right, well, what did y'all do? Now, granted, they made some good transfer portal additions. There are a lot of old guys. There are a lot of people that we've not heard of before. They've made some additions on the defense. They've got Harold Perkins going back to his general star position that he's in. That's great. But LSU replaced 4 offensive linemen. 4.
Yeah. One being the center.
Right? One being the center. Now, granted, Virginia Tech must have had one of the best O-lines in the country last year because everybody that started for that team transferred to bigger schools and are automatic. They're starters right now. So Nussmeier and Klubnik, they kind of have a lot of similarities to me. I think Klubnik can run a little bit better than Nussmeier can. I think Nussmeier can run
a lot better.
Yeah, I think Nussmeier's got a little bit prettier ball. His ball placement's questionable. If I had to choose between them two, I know a while back we talked and we asked who we'd pick over it. At that time, I said I'd take Nuss over Klubnik. If I had to retrace that statement, I'd take Klubnik now over Nussmeier on who is a better athlete and who's on the better roster. It's Clemson. I have Clemson winning this game, and I think it's going to be about a 10-point game. I don't think it's going to be close. I guess 10 points, you can say it's 2 possessions, so it's not a blowout. I like Clemson winning this game probably 34-24. I mean, that's not a knock. You know, I've heard a lot of people say they don't think either team will score over 30. That'll probably be the best case for LSU if that is the case, and they can hold Clemson under 30 points. I think LSU has a chance. I don't see it. I got Clemson win this game 34-24.
Yeah, I want LSU to win. I was thinking about it this week, and I don't know if we talked about it or not, but dude, if I wasn't a Bama fan, I would 1,000% be an LSU fan. Like, their stadium is rocking, the hype, the vibes. Like, I love everything about it. I hate LSU. Yeah, like, I can't stand them every time we play them. But if I wasn't a Bama fan, like, they would be the team that I'd be like, yeah, they got some dogs. You know, it's just everything about the what LSU has going on. I like Dabo Swinney. I love what he's doing at Clemson. He's kind of staying to that traditional college recruitment mindset, and he's building a team, right? He's not hiring 20 guys to come in and fill a spot for a year, and if they're no good, they're going to transfer somewhere else, right? Yeah. He's building a team. Klubnik, I do like a lot. He's a good quarterback, good decision maker, knows when to get out of the pocket, knows when to throw the ball away. Does have some costly decisions last year before that, but hey, it's his 3rd year starting. I do not see 38-3 versus Georgia?
Yes,
somewhere like around there.
31-3, 38-3,
yeah,
something.
That's not happening. It's not happening this year. I think LSU has to win. I think they have to. If they don't, this is going to be a huge momentum change to the hype that they have. If Clemson does lose, it's okay. They're going to win the ACC. But I see Clemson pulling it out.
I think it's really okay if either team loses, but I think LSU's fan base is going to melt if they lose this game. I mean, that's the same with it's a big difference between LSU losing to Clemson versus Auburn losing to Baylor, right? That's a big difference.
Yeah.
But conference-wise, it doesn't really matter for either of these teams. Man, maybe LSU will pull it out. I hope they do. I hope I'm wrong on that. But Clemson's my favorite to go to national championship. I don't know who they're going to play against there, but they're my favorite to get there.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't want that, but I could see it. Clemson's got the team to do it, but I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm ready to just get the weekend going. We got USF and Boise State right now, and looks like I was kind of right. Boise State is up 10-7 going into half, and from what I mean, everybody's been saying Boise State's gonna spank them, but look at USF the last 2 years.
Yeah,
look how they played Bama.
It's only a 5-point spread, so I think Vegas knew it was going to be kind of close, but we'll see. So, well, Kyle, man, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and doing another show. We're gonna wrap it up, guys, and then after the weekend, we normally do shows on Sunday night. But I'm thinking because we have college football Sunday night and then we have another game Monday, we might drop a show Tuesday or Wednesday, due to the holidays, just being Labor Day and stuff. But Wednesday's show would be able to cover all of the college football games. So that's probably what we're going to be leaning to. So I hope everybody has a safe weekend, an amazing Labor Day weekend. Thank y'all so much. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the show. This has been another episode of The Common Fan.
You've been listening to The Common Fan. See y'all next time. Same tailgate.